order, 5:30, March 9th, 2026. Commissioner Harris, would you give our invocation?
Sure. Heavenly Father, Lord, we just come to you, Lord, give you all the praise, honor, and glory, Lord. Thank you, Lord, for this day and your many blessings that you bestowed on us, this county. Pray, Heavenly Father, Lord, that you just be with us during this meeting, Lord. Help us do the things, Lord, that are pleasing unto you, Lord. These things we ask you. Pray in Jesus' name.
Amen. Thank you. Before we approve the agenda, we've got out of 10 have been advised that we're going to remove that with no objections. County attorney and the sheriff have got a little something extra sort of worked out, so we're just going to remove that unless there's any objection to that. Also, need to add under new business item H. There's an email here that Commissioner Ring. I'm sorry. Yeah, item I think I said under H. Item I to do another recognition for Mr. Johnny Anderson. So we'll add that under I with those additions and corrections. Is there a motion to approve as amended? All right. Second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Approval of the minutes from the last meeting. So moved. Second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Recognition of the public. We have one signed up to speak, Mr. David Klein.
David Klein, 398 Branham Mill Road, Gallatin, Tennessee. Mr. Chairman, thank you, committee. I want to encourage you to, on old business 8B, the annexation resolution. I was pretty surprised at our last commission meeting when we sent it back. This is one of the few opportunities we, as the county commission, has to control growth or expenditures for new schools and things like that in the county. So I would strongly encourage it passes so it can go on the commission and hopefully be approved. And then item 9F, the county's opposition to SB 2237 and HB 2552. As the chairman of the Planning Commission, and I work very closely with the Planning and Engineering Department, this would really upset the apple cart. To allow projects to be approved if they haven't been touched within 30 days is incredibly tight timing. And we know that Planning Commission, County Commission, our committees, we only get together once a month. So if we don't address it immediately, I can see the committees having meetings, special called meetings. I can see the Planning Commission having special called meetings, the Commission having special called meetings, the staff in Planning and Engineering working overtime or hiring several more people just to have on staff so that we can do our due diligence on these new projects. And I would strongly encourage you to deny or approve the annexation resolution because it is anti this law. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right. Under report of the chair, just to correct the record, this under old business, under item B that Commissioner Klein just referenced, we actually did not send it back. This actually was docketed for this committee at the last meeting, and it failed to be added to the agenda. So just to make sure that everybody understands. All right, outside of that, that's my report for the county mayor. No report, Mr. Chairman. Thank you. Old business, item 8A, the City of Gallatin, MOA. This has been back and forth here before. I think they're asking for some space for some servers. And I think they were asking for 2 racks, which was a small area for this couple of servers. We addressed this before. What's the, I guess?
believe it got kicked back from commission specifically for questions that were asked there about locations, alternate locations, things of that, so I think that's why it's here.
Cam, go ahead.
I think that also there was questions about like a length of usage on the.
Mr. Mayor, I think you have.
It's going to be housed down at the EOC, so, with the other servers, so it's, going to be in that space. There's plenty of room for it, won't impede with any of the other operations. It could be up to 2 years while they build out a space, but again, it's not impeding on any of our operations. So,
Yes, sir. Motion approved. Second.
Any discussion?
I'll make one note. I have been hard on this one. Part of me wants to be a pain just because I believe that the city of Gallatin has not operated in good faith on a couple of occasions. However, this is it's not a big deal, and it's for the good of the people, so I'm going to vote for it.
Question. What's the, like, if there's issues with their servers or whatnot, let's say at nighttime or whatnot, who is expected to be, you know, able to let them into the building and take care of their issues? How's that going to work out?
They'll work with our team on that. Yeah, I mean, we've got 24-hour operations over there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
Okay.
they would work with our team.
Okay.
If there was some type of emergency.
All right. Thank you.
Any more discussion?
Mr. Chairman, if I can.
Yes.
Is that EOC or EMS, Mayor? Sorry, Chairman.
Well, I just put it all in that one, but it's that Hardin facility where the server room is.
Gotcha.
Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Next is the annexation resolution that was adopted.
Second.
Any discussion for this?
I'll make one comment. I've been for this from its inception, and actually, for a law, similar to this. I've argued from the get-go that the county does not, when it comes to annexation, the county, has an interest in a potential burden, but does not have a say in the annexation process. I think this does some, moves the ball forward to try to do this, spoke with Mr. Lambert. I've stated about it 2 years ago. I'm glad to see it moving forward. I hope we can, support this. So, I will support it.
Mr. Harris and Mr. White.
Ask you a real stupid question here. If somebody wants their property annexed, why is it all right to tell them that they can't have it annexed?
If somebody, I'll answer tonight.
Because 90% of the time, these people are asking the city of Gallatin, let's just take Gallatin for instance, they're asking to be annexed in.
That's right.
So,
100% of the time.
yeah, well, 100% of the time.
Yeah.
And so I get
Cities
that,
can't
I get that argument, and it's a fair argument. But I think it's a similar argument to, if I have, when you purchase property, you purchase it under the auspices of the title and deed that you have when you purchase it. So you don't have guarantees for anything beyond that. If I've purchased farmland, then I have purchased farmland under the auspices of a title that is zoned for rural, maybe rural residential. And I realize this is slightly different here, but it's a similar thing, right? When you purchase something, you inherit on that title all of the riders on that title. And one of those riders is whether it is inside or outside of the city limits. So to answer your question, I don't think a person has a right to inherently to change that title without a request. And if they did have a request, then they wouldn't need, if they did have that right, then they wouldn't need to ask the city to be annexed at all. They could just say, hey, I'm in that city. So when a large tract is annexed by the city and then used for development in practice, what we have is continued urban sprawl. And the county bears the cost of that in two ways. One, we bear the cost of it for the increased pressure on our school system. And two, we bear the cost of roads, ingress, egress. Not to mention the second and third order costs around around emergency services and all the things that we do here. So my point here is that I'm not saying we wouldn't apply it, we wouldn't approve it. I might approve some. I'm just saying that we as a body, and particularly as the budget committee chairman, what I see is a scenario in which I'm on the hook for potential, long-term changes to spending, and I don't have any seat at the table for whether it happens. That's my answer.
What if they're wanting to be annexed due to industrial use rather than residential use?
Again, I might be for it. I might be for the annexation. I'm just saying we need a say.
Yeah.
I'm just saying we need a say. I would tell you for an industrial purchase, I would almost certainly, me personally, I would almost certainly go for it, assuming it made sense, right? I mean, you wouldn't want to put a landfill, by a residential area. I'm not saying I would be against it. I'm just saying that's what this does. We're not saying that we would be against something. We're just saying that, like, hey, we deserve a seat at the table.
Commissioner Rogers, you were next.
Mr. Chairman, has legal looked at this to see if it's any more than what's coming out of the state? Or can we set a resolution that's more than what's coming out of the state? Or how does that need to work?
We've tackled this once before, and it always came up to the same conclusion. It was even trying to make it a rider on that Gallatin resolution we tried to pass a few months ago. So we don't have a dog in this fight right now. So you could set up a separate resolution that I think the intent of this is to cooperate and be a part of something the state's doing versus us trying to push an agenda up there that nobody's going to support. I don't know if that answered your question or not, but as of now, we just don't have a dog in the fight.
So I guess procedurally then, would we be premature in passing a resolution that doesn't even have a bill to ride with at the state? Not knowing if we're more egregious than the bill that comes out of the state, because we can't do that anyway, right? And I'm just asking the question.
I'm going to get a Q&A.
Have you spoken with anyone at the state delegation to see where this is in the
I spoke with Representative Langley, Leader Langley, back, gosh, I don't know, 6 weeks ago about it, and it was just, it hadn't even gotten out of committee at that point. I think it's progressing through. My question was, first of all, cities can't just go out and force annex. They can't do that already. So that part's not happening. An individual has to request to be annexed in for whatever, whether it be for city services, sewer, whatever. So if they ask the city, let's just use Gallatin since it was brought up, they ask the city of Gallatin to come and be annexed because they want city water, city gas, sewer, what have you. Gallatin says yes. And then we come and we say, no, we're going to hold you hostage and keep you from getting there. Well, how is that benefit? They're still paying county taxes. They just be paying city taxes. How does that help in anything? I don't see how that benefits at all. I'm going to Jerry or anyone.
So this is going to be a really, I think you said stupid question. This is going to be a stupid question. So in this scenario, so there's someone in the county. They go to, we're using Gallatin. They go to Gallatin and ask for annexation. What? Again, stupid question. Reading through these whereas, how does that increase the financial burden on the county? Because in my simple mind is, now they're, sort of to your point, they're already paying county taxes, they're gonna still pay county taxes. Now they would have to pay city taxes too. And so I'm just, my brain's a little slow right now.
One house turns into 150
You got it right there. So let's talk about this in a real.
Oh, okay,
Let's
yes,
talk about this
yes,
in
yes,
a realistic
I got you.
scenario. Here's what really happens. I've got 100 acres
Yeah.
and 2 houses on the outskirts of Gallatin or Hendersonville or wherever.
I got you.
And I want to be annexed in because once I'm annexed in, that is more. I can demand a higher price on the market from a developer, and the developer doesn't want to have that property until it's already annexed in. So once you're annexed in, now we're going to put, two acre in the county, 2.7 acre minimum, although that is outside the urban growth boundary. But let's say, 2 acre minimum, and inside the city now, so maybe it's a half acre minimum. So now we're annexed in the city, and on that 100 acres, instead of having one property, you have 200.
I got you.
And so, I'm going to play out. I'm going to go play out because I'm going to answer this question here. Now I've got 200 property. I've got 200 people, or 200 houses, and 200 houses times an average of 2 people per house, 2 students per house. There's 400 people, 400 students. Average cost of a student is about $12,000, of which we pay, and I'm just throwing these out there, but it's about right. We pay about half, roughly. The state pays another half. So 4,000 times 12,000 divided by 2, 4,000, 48, so 24,000, 200 and, yeah, so now I'm getting myself mixed up, but anyway, I think it's about $240,000 extra. That we know that is, and on those houses, we'll get, maybe an extra $1,800 per on property tax, right? So we all know that for the county, on a rooftop, it's a losing proposition. And so we don't have any check or balance on that. So what you could do in a scenario like this is to say, hey, happy to let you annex, but it has to be we're going to have an MOU, City of Gallatin, so that we can only support so much. That's what you can have if you have a dog in the fight.
So, I'm gonna interrupt. Is anybody in the queue? I was at the meeting so I was at the meeting, and it was the smaller counties that wanted this, and they were small counties, Campbell, Moore, White, that they wanted this, not the larger counties, not Knox, Robertson County, because I consider them large counties. But I think this creates larger government, less local control, and also had an issue, and I had an issue with it at the meeting, that because if people want their property annexed in, that's another layer of bureaucracy where we say, well, the county then says, well, no, that the elected municipality isn't smart enough to know what to do. Also, the schools get 50% of every retail sales tax dollar that goes to them from the city. And then our student growth rate has been flat. And a year ago, Josh Suttis told me, our former planning director, that the median age coming in and buying into this county are retirement. They're 45 and up. They're not families with young children, because families with young children can't afford to live in Sumner County. And that has borne true with my children have not been able to purchase homes in Sumner County. They've gone outside the county to purchase. So, and until the state rules on this, I don't know, outside of the citizens here calling, I don't know that it would matter what our commission passed as a resolution. So those are just my thoughts. And I appreciate what you're thing. But as the cities annex, the cities then provide fire service out of those cities' fire tax dollars. That is almost a benefit to our volunteer fire service. That the cities will then take over that because our EMS is already out all over the county. And those are just my feelings on that.
For what I need to correct something, I was off by a factor of 10, that the calculation was 2.4 million. But, you know, we could go back and forth on that. No, never. My point here, and I do want to respond to this because my point is not, an annexation may make sense. It may very well make sense, and that is a fair point, right? Like we are also, I've been a proponent of putting a referendum onto the ballot to discuss to get guidance on a power tax. Well, I totally get that argument, and then I understand also the argument, hey, what about a commercial development? What about an industrial development? There are all of these different what ifs that we could play out, and in many cases, maybe most of them, it does indeed make sense. I just don't. I will. What I know is that I have for 3 years, and about to do it for a 4th year, sat in budget meetings in which we say over and over and over and over, we are strained on services because of growth. And we don't have any, here is a way for us to at least put our ability to throttle that growth. I'm not saying no all the time, but we talk about smart growth. We don't even have a say in it. So and my position on the budget, having done that for many years, and a few years, not many years, I can't in good faith ever take. We're here to look at the interests of the county. If I were in the city or the city of Gallatin, I might very well be against this, but I'm representing the pocketbook of the county.
And the funding for the schools right now, though, is the money follows the students. So when you're talking about funding the schools, one of the bills that they have at the legislature right now that we went through, governmental affairs, is that we will be allowing out-of-county children to come into our schools. So that money will follow that student. I don't think the state pays more than $6,000 a student. It's more like $7,500. I'm not trying to.
Just to help me understand the process of a property owner coming to ask for annexation. In those cases, is it in the scenario that you mentioned, which I get it, so I appreciate that. But when they come in and make that request, I mean, are those details even known at that time?
Well,
I mean, if they're
I'm
not,
sure they're known to somebody.
well, but I mean, so if a property owner goes to the city of Gallatin again, and I've got 100 acres annex it, I mean, unless we're going to go off of Joe and so and so said, this is going to be a development. I mean, then we would end up potentially be ruling something for just rumors. Yeah, well, I mean,
That works out well.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. I'm just trying to grasp all the different scenarios, and so to answer my question, it sounds like that's not. Is it the majority time? It's probably not even ironed out or even mentioned or included, if anyone knows. But I don't know.
Well, we've got a real estate agent sitting right here. He can probably say that I would venture to say that if I'm working a deal on some property somewhere, I'm not going to go to the county building and tell them it's for a 300 house. I want you to annex in. I would probably be annexed in prior to, and then make the development and once it's inside the property.
We put this in place.
The thing that we run into though is then we're adding more and more layers of government. And my concern here is, and I guess I've got a question for legal. The way the law is, and the way that somebody says annex their property inside of the city limits. But if we start putting these, we always hear about land users' rights, and we'll talk about that a little later. If we start talking about restrictions on landowners' rights and homeowners' rights and all that stuff, and they followed the questions and come and said, hey, I want to be annexed into this municipality, it's great. And then we say, well, you can't do it because our school don't have enough room to hold 4 more kids. Then where does that put the county as far as liability? They've got landowners' rights. They want to be annexed inside the city, but the county's telling them no. Where does that leave us?
That's a hypothetical that, well, I don't even.
Well, no, Warriors is not a glass ball. We can interpret it. It only takes an 8th grade education to do that.
And this thing I tell you will be 100% accurate. But you've got so many hurdles to get over just to be able to have the ability to say that scenario you just said. So we're talking about years and years down the road to get the state to even agree on allowing us to participate in this. So if it were to get that far, you're right for challenges on property owner rights.
I think that's where we're headed. As a commissioner, I can't support it for that very reason. We're trying to talk about all the good things that we're doing and all the landowners' rights and all that stuff. And we're going to back ourselves in the corner with a lawsuit quicker than we know what we're doing. So I'll vote no.
And I think it's also an issue of trust in the municipalities. They're elected by the representation of their own cities.
Have fun with all of them.
And in Hendersonville just denied an annexation request not very long ago on Avon Lane. And I know about it because I got phone calls from the realtor, and it's not even in my district, and the property owner wanting to know how he could make that happen. And I told him, so I'm a county commissioner, sir, I can't really help you with this. But I did put him in touch with his county commissioner. But the story was that was his. It was a 100-year-old farm, and he was ready to sell, and he wanted to retire, and he wanted to get the most money he could get for his property, and to prove, but that was his right as an owner. It's his right to ask.
It's his right to ask.
His right to ask.
It's his right
That is
to
the
ask.
law. It's his right to ask.
It's his right to ask. But you own a piece of property under the auspices in which you inherited it or purchased it. I can't go and put,
until it's your property.
I mean, I own the property, but I see this from, I'm not arguing, right now, I am arguing from the position of a county commissioner who is here looking out for the interests of all the taxpayers, not one who happens to want to be able to maximize their profit. Everybody, not one.
I'll make one comment and I'll let Mr. Robertson accuse. Everybody sitting at this table is living on a piece of property that was subdivided at one time.
Yep.
In fact, everybody on this planet.
I'm not saying it wasn't.
Call question.
Question's been called for. Any more discussion?
Well, he's called the question.
Yeah.
We didn't need to
Well, I mean, it may be a moot point if there's no more discussion. Okay, we'll call for a vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Is this the call, or is?
No, this is not on the question, we didn't get a second anyway.
Well, I mean, I'll second.
You second the call for the question? Okay, just starting on the question. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, now, on the main vote. All in favor, say aye.
No. Sorry.
Do it again.
All right, we got one,
I'll give it an eye.
No.
2. Any opposed? No.
No.
5-2.
Where did you get that? I was a no.
I heard him say yes.
I read through it, Mr. Chairman. I'm sure you right here.
Motion fails. Now, on to new business, veteran service report. That's in a minute.
The first guidance on our report, it kind of captures some of the same kind of good news, but catching a lot of errors coming through the VA lately. But I want to call your attention to the 4th paragraph. This is helping veterans track down their discharge documents or helping their next of kin. We've been helping a lot of funeral homes. The total number last month was 46 requests for discharge documents. That's more than 2 a day that we handled last month. And a lot of them were for deceased veterans, and we're helping them to try and get their flag for their funeral, et cetera. But I'm just pointing out that there's much more than helping out with revenue generating type stuff that we do through the VA. We're also helping out quite a bit with getting people to just get their discharge documents. Just also renewing the request for our part-timer as we go into the budget season, and pointing out that since we got our part-timer last time, we increased VA revenue into the county by $23 billion. That's 23 with a B. So please give us a part-timer. We can keep up.
Wait, $23 billion.
Since we got our part-timer approved 2 years ago. $23 billion increase. That's VA revenue through our healthcare organizations, through our veterans. $23 billion. One last note, when I wrote this report.
You gonna ask for her to raise or him to raise?
No, we want to get a little extra help. I wasn't aware that we were initiating combat operations when I wrote this report. Just want to remind everybody, now we have a lot of folks, troops that are over there deployed. Please wear red on Friday to remember your veterans. That's a VFW thing to remember everyone deployed. Please wear red on Friday.
Is that every Friday?
Every Friday. But particularly now that we got folks out there.
And I would like to say, for the record, at my cemetery, the widows of the veterans think that you are fabulous. They love Jeff Oakey at the Sumner County Veterans. He is so good. Forms, paperwork, monuments, etc. It really means a lot to our veterans' wives, spouses.
Appreciate it.
So I just wanted to say that for the record.
It's a pleasure, sir.
Thank you. All right. Item B, the Hendersonville Adequate Facilities Tax, Mr. Sippel.
Yes, sir. This committee has sent me, back and forth with the city of Hendersonville over some adequate facility taxes. At the time, I believe we had a claim of unpaid amount of $278,748.00 in adequate facilities tax, which the city's supposed to direct over here. We have members from that department to speak in more detail on this, but from the collection standpoint, I've reached out with the city. I've provided you with copies of our correspondence to them, rebuttal correspondence, and then I have been advised that one did pay, but we've got some revised numbers on what's owed, but it's not significantly different. So basically, I am reporting to you the status of the AFT for this committee and the commission to make a decision on how they'd like to proceed. But please, any further detailed questions to codes before we, Commissioner Wright?
I was just gonna make a motion, we should get it on the table for him to go forward.
Second.
Got a motion on the floor. If you want to hear, I'll make a motion,
To suspend the rules. I mean,
now, I was gonna suspend it without.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
We've got a motion on the floor, we'll leave this motion where it's at, we'll suspend the rules.
That's fine.
To hear from.
Chairman Harris.
Yes, sir.
Legislation, this is Katie Schaefer. She is the Sumner County AFT coordinator. She's here to have that any questions.
The way I collected the data for anyone, every month Hendersonville sends us a permit report. So I went through and collected all of the commercial permits on that report, calculated what we hadn't been paid since February 2024, and then they sent us permits. So we cross-referenced for permits that didn't actually require an adequate facilities tax and removed that from the total. So the total now that's in your packet is the actual amount that they still owe us.
Mr. Chairman, if I could, I think it would help if could you explain what the city should have done versus what it's led us to do?
Yes. So every time a city issues a building permit for a new residential build, they need to send the contractors or the builders, the homeowners to us to pay their adequate facilities tax. They shouldn't be issuing a building permit without that adequate facilities tax receipt from the county. And so since February 2024, when they were sent a letter to inform them on that. They hadn't been paying them still, so they were issuing building permits without that piece that needs to be in their permit package.
And once you,
About 300, you know, the numbers on that.
So-
300, something thousand, sorry, I don't remember the number off the top of my head.
300,000.
In excess of 300,000.
Actually, it's commercial.
And commercial, sorry, yes. They paid for residential and commercial bills. They've done their residential, but not their commercial. Sorry, yes. So their commercial buildings,
325, 407.20.
that's the one.
so explain that again. So we informed them February of 24
Yes.
that they hadn't been doing it, and they continued to just not do it. Is that what I heard?
In 2024, they were sent a letter from the building code department informing them that they need to be paying adequate facility tax to the county for residential and industrial bills. And in the letter stated industrial and commercial are one and the same. But they started sending people for residential bills, but not the commercial bills. So all that money is from new commercial buildings that were put up and not collected in adequate facility.
And if I may, and that's at the same time that the county mandated that any unpaid fees would be the city's responsibility, is that correct?
It was the same time when the county commissioners, interpreted the, resolution as the cities should be paying for commercial. Up till then, they haven't been, no city was, that was a couple of years ago. But the other 6 cities complied, it was just the city of Hendersonville that would never,
What's their argument?
That they weren't made aware that they owed adequate facility tax for commercial buildings. But in the letter that was originally sent to them, the first letter they sent, they stated they weren't aware that they were officially aware in February 2024 is when they actually understood, but still since then they hadn't been paying.
Does this amount account for the time since we have a paper trail that we can prove, or does this go back to before that?
this goes back to we sit down for certified mail immediately after the county commission.
Go ahead. I was gonna ask what
Like, how long have they, before 2024, how long were they just not paying? They've never,
No one was paying.
Yeah.
Up until then.
oh, okay, so no one was paying, but
Yeah.
Hendersonville wasn't even paying for residential, that's what I heard.
Also, that they were paying for residential.
Oh, they were paying for residential, okay.
It wasn't.
So it's only the commercial that's in question, and it didn't start until February 24.
Yes.
We told them that it started, and they haven't paid for it yet.
Yeah.
And all the other cities have paid. The only city remaining is Hendersonville. Okay, all right. Thank
To
you.
be clear, so has the city of Hendersonville collected these monies and kept them, or they have not, no one has collected these monies, we have to go back to the builders and collect these monies?
Well, we're not required to go to the builders according to the resolution. It's the city, municipality.
So they have,
required to-
because they broke the link in the chain, they didn't say, go to the county and pay your taxes. Therefore, it's on them to reimburse us for those taxes.
That's
According
part of
to
the language in the
Yeah,
resolution.
yeah, okay.
So
I
what are,
wanted to be clear.
what are our options?
Hold on, we're still out. So the rules are suspended, so that's just the thing. Right there, yeah.
Yeah, I got it.
Any other questions? Yes.
So have we informed them again since February 2024 that, hey, you're still not paying these?
Yes, they've been informed twice.
Yeah, it's in
Okay,
the packet.
okay, so they're fully aware that they're not paying it. Okay,
Yeah, there's our demand and then there's a rebuttal in the packet.
okay.
Certified letters were sent to all the county mayors and their legal departments. So every city got at least 2 certified, mails, notification of initially back in 2024.
There's one on February 15th, 24, looks like there was one on December 5th, 25, with the law office here, so, yeah. Certified mail.
And then there's a rebuttal from them back on page 29 from February 23rd, 2026. So they've at least not acknowledged. All right, then.
Any other questions? Thank you all. Yes, sir. We'll bring it back under rules. There's a motion second on the floor. Yes, sir.
Is there, so, Mr. Sidler, if I may ask you, on page 29, there was the document that Commissioner Rogers just referenced. It's February 23rd, so like, 2-3 weeks ago. They're asking us which items and for what amounts have been paid to date. Is there a response to that?
No, there's only been one that's been paid to date that I'm aware of, so, there has not been a response to this letter, but that does not mean there has not been communication between me and the city attorney during this time.
In your opinion, do you think they're in the process of trying to pay this or not?
Personally,
Correct.
I do not think they want to pay this.
Okay. 2 years? Well, I mean, this email from 2 weeks ago.
This was after lengthy conversation, they finally got it to their budget and.
Yeah, these 2 questions sort of lead me to believe that they're at least looking into paying it.
Well, if you'd like me to respond, I mean, I'll do whatever you all instruct me.
Mr. Chairman, what's the?
But I will say this, if I may, their position has essentially been, in my conversations, is that it didn't get paid by the contractor and that the county needs to go get their money. In direct opposition to what the resolution was.
What are our options?
Yeah, that's.
Well, I mean, what, is it a lawsuit? I mean, if you could lay out like from, a nice nudge on the shoulder to.
I can respond to this letter, I could, see if they want to do a joint meeting, I can do any number of things you would like to do. I think you're asking me what the worst case scenario, it would be a lawsuit. I believe these are valid debts.
I'll make a motion, because I don't think we should come to that.
Well, we got a motion on the floor.
What is the motion?
What is the motion?
For the office to go forward, and then of course we can make it work.
There would be.
So we would go forward to try to regain the money, but the way is up to.
So I'll make an amendment to give some detail on that, because I don't want to just escalate right to a.
I just got it on the floor so we can talk about it.
I don't want to escalate right to a suit, but, and that would be just direct our law director to send, a note to the city requesting a representative, to present themselves to, I think budget is probably the right one, in order to discuss collection and any rationale or any kind of timeline that they might need. That's mine.
I would ask that, maybe modify a little bit so that we respond to their questions here, and I'll just make it all one big packet, because there are new numbers now. That number has gone up.
But I'd like to talk to them in the open. Now, ultimately, that's what I want to do, is have somebody here to talk to.
Request a representative from the city.
Absolutely.
They would come discuss this.
That's my amendment, it's not.
That's second.
Come discuss it where?
Budget.
Oh, I heard legislative.
Yeah, no, he said budget, but.
I mean, I'm open to being here too.
I think it needs to be here first, because we hadn't disposed of this.
That's fine, we can, and I'll, without, if the second's good with it, we can do it here first.
And then specifically the April 2026 legislative committee meeting.
Correct. Is the second good with that?
Yeah. Now, let me ask the question, in your, well, that's on the main. Any discussions of this amendment to request City of Hendersonville send a representative to the legislative committee in April to discuss this item openly and transparently?
That also includes, I would like to respond to this, respond to the letter.
Yeah.
Yeah, but when he made that comment, that was
Yeah.
inherent in mine.
So, all right, then let me ask this question. Would that be a demand letter?
It'll just be a response letter, I won't be that direct.
Yeah.
That's where I was kind of.
That was not what I wanted. That was not my
Unless you
intent.
want me.
No,
No, I don't think we're quite at that point, but
Just
Maybe
an invitation letter. A response and invitation.
Will do.
any other discussion of the amendment? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Now we're on the main, which is pretty much the same thing. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. All right. Next is the resolution or the request to recognize linemen as first responders.
So moved.
Second. Second.
You know what we're talking about today. I just have a question for the law office. Linemen are in kind of a strange scenario. Linemen.
Oh, yes.
Linemen, like linemen, not like NFL linemen.
Gotcha.
They're in a little bit of a different category, I think, than your typical, what I think are typically considered kind of first responders who are federal, state, or local officers or actors of a government party. A lineman may be a private entity. So are we able, like, I'm not saying that, by the way, I want to just be super clear, I'm not saying that what linemen do isn't hardcore, right? I mean, they're out there in the corner, they're getting it done. This is a question of terminology and of definition. Are we defining something that we can?
If you'll look on page 146, I had an email response as this was being floated around, and that was one of my very main questions was basically that I commend them for their extraordinary efforts. However, the intent is to formally designate or classify them as first responders. That may raise legal and policy considerations depending on how the terms defined in state law. And I do know that first responders have certain designations and certain things they're entitled to in the state because of that nomenclature.
Right.
And this could very well be a legal process.
So with that in mind, I would like to make this, unless somebody else, I'd like to make an amendment, and that is, I'd just like to move to defer this and get additional information from our law office and see if this is something we could do. I think there are a lot of questions here we don't have answers to, we just raised several of them. I would like to defer it.
Any discussion on the deferral? For 1 month?
1 month. How much time I'd ask the law director how much time does he need?
Well, we'll defer it for 1 month, and then we can defer it again if we need to.
I didn't know.
Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Defer till April. All right. Item D, new business adopting of the Judicial Commissioner's annual. So moved.
Second.
So moved and second. I'll second it. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. All right. Health and safety standards. Page 153.
I'll make a motion to get it on the floor, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
This is one you may want to suspend the rules on as well if you have any questions for codes.
All right. Without objection, we'll suspend the rules.
Committee, most of y'all probably know, not all y'all, that health safety standards basically enforcing hot grass, junk, trash, garbage, dilapidated buildings. And the health and safety standards hasn't been revised in the last 15, 16 years. We figured it was time to do so, make changes in Sumner County. There's 3 things that I think that's noteworthy to the committee that is not in the current 9-page health and safety standards that we're enforcing right now, that you'll find in this new document. And the first one is the 911 address update violations. That would be on page 9, item 1. The second one would be shipping container violations. And you'll
find that on page 11, item 12. And the third one would be sunsetting the Health and Safety Standards Board and integrating their responsibilities into the Board of Construction Appeals. And you'll find that on page 5. And also, page 19.
What was the shipping?
Shipping container violations is, on page 11, item 12.
Everybody thought?
Did everybody get that, or?
Actually, we're talking about right to park, what's the problem with the shipping containers?
We're back to planning for shipping, we're back to planning, we need to back to planning.
How this all started, Commissioner, is shipping containers been a problem with, trying to enforce and keep them out of the county, because the regulations right now basically say that you can't have shipping containers in residential. We wanted to bring this to the attention of the commissioners, and it's a problem, because people bring shipping containers in, and they're filled full of contents, and the neighbors call, and it's hard to get them back out. So, we thought, well, let's bring this to the commissioners' attention and see what they may want to do with it, if anything. So, there was some language put in, and it's very simple. It basically says that, shipping containers will be allowed in residential now, but with minimum or no regulations. I think that was a reflection of what come out of the planning committee, that I think there was consensus, let's go ahead and recommend shipping containers with minimum regulations. So what you'll find there is kind of a reflection of what the planning committee consensus was. So, but those are the two options that we provided right now, is either they'll be allowed per the language that you'll find in this with minimum regulations, or that can be removed and it will just default to what we already have in the current health and safety standards, which would be prohibited in some county residential.
So this allows them, but subject, this line allows them, but being compliant with zoning resolution and all applicable IRC and IBC code requirements.
Footings and foundations.
So, yeah, that's good, so it put it on a foundation somewhere.
It won't have, I'm sorry.
No.
We're just jawing.
Yeah.
The only thing that we'll find that we have in the building codes is structural, requirements. We don't have anything on aesthetics. I mean, it can come in as a shipping container, and it'll look like a shipping container, and you can have as many as you want, as long as you don't exceed the maximum lot coverage of property.
I'm okay with it. Thank you for that explanation. I just want to note that I do care about property rights, so.
Well,
I mean.
let's go on down the road a little bit then. So, and Marcia, first of all, I got your email earlier today, and I was having trouble sending emails back out, so I appreciate that. So, and I'm not trying to nitpick or beat a dead horse, but goodness, I've got a lot of heartburn when it comes to looking at this. What is our setbacks on property lines, just a standard setback? Isn't it 5 foot each side, total of 10?
Yeah, they wouldn't be allowed in the front yard unless you had lots of acreage.
No, I'm just talking about like on the property lines.
Yeah, it would have to be 5 foot from the rear and 5 foot from the sides.
So I guess I've got questions. I just want to draw everybody's attention to number 2 on page 9. We're talking about grass and underbrush. We're wanting 15 foot buffer to be mowed out on the property, when really and truly we're telling them in another part of the county where you only have to have a 5 foot setback. So I'm kind of confused. If you could help me understand the 5 foot setback, but yet we're wanting a 15 foot interior mowing
That's okay.
around it.
Sure. Yeah, roads are spent. I'd like to introduce
Jason. Come on.
That's just for farms, not typical residential, but if you have a big, large property, 20, whatever acres, we're just asking if there's residents on each side of you, that you have, I think actually it was 50, and this one, we kind of reduced it because we're not a farmer out there just cutting, kind of maintaining that, but that's what that's from.
Would it not, and I'm just asking, would it not be better to have it 5 foot? Because if it's a hay field, and the farmer's taking 15 foot, that's 30 foot, and then you got 45 foot on each end, that's quite a bit of a field. 3 or 4 slots.
And it's 50 foot, what we use right now?
No, I think we cut it down to like, we only on the new health and safety resolution is 20 foot.
It's 15.
Is it, they want to say 50? I think
15. 1 5. 15. On page 9.
I think it should have been changed to 20 anyway, because we had both of them, we talked about it.
That doesn't match.
And they figured, hey, if that, you know, the,
Sycamores.
you know, with the X amount, we just asked them to, you know, one lap.
And then we're looking at the other part of it, a farm. Why is a farm considered 15 acres? Why can't we have like a 5 or 10 acre farm that matches with the tax code, so we can at least get in line with that, so we don't have to worry about the exemptions? Well, I understand, but you can get a tax freeze on 5 acres in the county. So if that's considered a tax freezeable amount, why couldn't we have that same here and it'd be exempt?
It's probably reflective of what's in the zoning regulations. We try to match everything what would be in unison.
And then,
Marshall, do you have?
Yeah, I think Marshall's trade. The 15 acres is a greenfield exemption. And out of the 5 acre, I'm not sure if there's another exemption for that, but our office gives off the 15.
Marshall, is not most of this covered under the property maintenance code?
Well, a lot of jurisdictions have abandoned their health and safety codes and put it on a shelf and just adopted the ICC property maintenance code. The reason we didn't adopt the property maintenance code is about half of it gives the inspectors authority to go inside somebody's home to require updates in the home, whether it be electrical, plumbing, or mold, or whatever. I felt like that was too intrusive. I didn't want to do that. So we just decided to modify the health and safety standards what we had on the books. And there's language in here that we will only go in somebody's home if it's considered an emergency and life safety, then we'll go and address it.
Well, is that not what the property maintenance code does also?
Yes, the property maintenance code is way more intrusive than this.
But you still have to have the permission or a warrant to do that, do you not?
When the property maintenance code,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you have to have a warrant on it, but we would only do it if it was a life safety issue.
Okay.
So,
I don't go on anybody's property unless they complain.
or you can see it from the road. How do we get complaints or letters? I'd say that's another thing too. Over on one part, page 18. Do we give copy of the complaints to people? Like with the notice of the violation, do we mail out a complaint to the, for lack of better words, offender?
they'd have to call open records request, and then we would give them that information to whoever was complaining.
Why wouldn't we go ahead and supply it at the time we're notifying them of a complaint? I'm just asking. I don't know.
Because most times people ask that they'll call and complain, and say, but keep it confidential. I don't want to get hit with my neighbor. We need to let them, we have a responsibility to let them know. We'll do that, but they do have a right to file an open records request.
Makes sense.
Any more questions for Marshall or anyone else?
Thanks, sir.
All right. Item is before you.
Motion to approve. with the questions I asked Marshall. I think it's a little overreach. I don't think it matches all aspects of the county, what we govern with other stuff with. It doesn't make sense that it has to be 15 acres to be exempt. What if you've got somebody out there with a hobby farm with 10 acres? Then they have to cut 15 foot off of each side. That's their whole field if they're trying to raise some hay. So I can't go with this. It doesn't make any sense.
Anyone else?
And if it makes sense to defer it for a month and somebody come back with some changes,
I've got a laundry list of changes, Mr. Chairman. If we want to go through it, make amendments, or I can try to mark it up and
I'm gonna change
submit it next month.
I'm gonna motion to defer, I'm gonna make a motion to defer for 1 month. So that way we don't have to draw it.
I'm good with that.
Okay.
But are you suggesting that maybe Mr. Rogers works with Marshall to?
Yes, anybody's free to bring back, that way we can have a list of changes as opposed to trying to.
That would be a point of information. Do you want it to go back with Mr. Rogers for the construction appeal? Who has been working on this? Should it go back?
Would that be helpful, Mr. Rogers, to go back?
I mean, I don't mind. I could just email it to the chairman, and the chairman submit what I emailed. I don't care. We just, by all means, don't want to get any.
I'm not gonna tell you what to say, I'm just gonna say, let's defer it.
Sounds like you're trying to.
Defer it. No, I always tell property managers, property owners what they can do, right?
It may make sense to send it back to the board.
I'm not gonna tell
From
people,
which it came.
I'm just gonna
We
motion
do that
to defer
to
it for a month, and y'all can manage it how you all want.
I'll mark it up and send it back to
Motion
Marshall.
to defer.
Motion to defer for 1 month.
Still working on it.
Second. All right, any discussion?
Legal, is that any issue with that, me working with codes? I'm just making sure.
As long as the deliberation on this is.
Oh, never.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
All right. Moving swiftly along.
Well,
Item F, the, resolution.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
second.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item G,
Motion to approve.
law.
Second.
Motion to approve, second. Any discussion? All in favor?
It's more than landowner stuff. You may be careful.
No, so I mean, I just kind of wanted to understand what additional impacts there might be to residents based on this. Like, do we have a summary?
There is one in the package,
All right, well, I read this summary here, maybe it looks like a bulletized list, you know, like.
Yeah, there was a slide presentation as part of it.
Yeah, the slides, but I'm looking for, this is, I don't know what else.
What are you asking questions about?
What I'm trying to understand is, like, we've got their.
It keeps Walmart plastic bags out of homeowners' yards because there's no landfills in the county unless.
Is that all it does? That's all it does?
Yeah.
There's no landfill without our approval.
Yeah, county approval required for all new landfills with a
That's it.
very limited exception.
But there's, like, if somebody wanted to put a compost heap up, they can do that.
That's a health and safety issue that we just deferred for a month
Yeah.
on 15 acres.
I mean, that's why, like, I'm just asking the question, I mean, 'cause I care about property owners' rights.
That's over here.
Well,
We
is it? I mean, I'm asking
It's different.
Well, I have a compost box.
I'm probably okay with it.
Well, we've already voted on it. Yeah, we did.
Well, I would like to answer though.
This is specifically related to landfill projects. Those are defined by term and statute.
All right, so to
This shifts that burden, or not burden, but the ability for the county to regulate that.
all right.
So it keeps solid waste, you know.
No, I get it, but what counts as a landfill, I guess is my question.
Statutorily provided for.
Right. We didn't vote, but that's okay. All right,
Motion second to approve. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Motion.
Item H, we got a motion?
Second.
Second. Any discussion?
Question.
All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, yeah, we got a second.